Hey, what's up? John Sonmez here from simpleprogrammer.com. So I got a little bit of heat on a video. Actually, one of the biggest ratios of downvotes that I've had on a video when I did this video about coincidences not existing. And in that video, I talked about a coincidence that happened to me, but me not calling that a coincidence, where I was in Boise, Idaho, and I was thinking of a friend of mine. And I just happened to run by, and he happened to be there, and I knew he was going to be there. It was just this weird thing. And I talked about how this is happening more and more to me lately, and how I don't believe in coincidences. And a lot of you don't like that. A lot of you said that I should read some books, specifically books about like Nicholas Taleb's The Black Swan, which I've read many times and is actually one of my top books. Actually, any book that he's written is one of my top books. I actually like that guy a lot. And a couple other book suggestions were in there and whatnot, as if I'm unawares of these kind of cognitive biases that exist, as if I don't understand or study human psychology. Oh, some of you guys crack me up. But you know what I'm here to do today? I'm not here to make excuses for that. I'm here to double down. That's right, I'm doubling down on this. So this is going to be a highly downvoted video as well. But how many fucks do I give? Well, as Mark Manson would say, what's this, the subtle art of not giving a fuck? I give zero. Zero fucks given. But no, in all seriousness, you know, I understand where you all are coming from, because I was that way. I used to think extremely analytically, and I thought that only logic and analytical thinking made sense. Everything else was kind of new agey hogwash bullshit. And while I still have a very strong tendency to logically break things down and to be very analytical, I'm also a bit woo-woo, if you could call it that. And what I mean by this is that I have realized that some of the greatest strides, the greatest improvements in my life have actually come from embracing some of the weirdest shit that I have ever heard of in my life. And that's why I'm a little bit more willing to go in different directions that I don't quite understand, that don't logically fit, that seem out there, and that I can't really piece the puzzle together and understand what's going on. And there's definitely some reasons why. I mean, you could probably make a logical reasoning for why this is so, and basically say that there's a lot of forces in the world that we don't understand yet. You know, I'm a little bit bad on the names in my history, but I do remember hearing the story of the guy who first discovered radio waves and invented the first radio and was communicating via radio waves, and they almost locked him up. If not, I think they may have actually locked him up, because they thought he was absolutely nuts, a lunatic, saying that he could pass messages through the air, if you can believe that. But, you know, you pull out your phone and your cell phone today, and that's all, it seems like that's all we actually do in life now, is that our goal is just to pass messages through the air. It's pretty amazing, right? But in fact, this audio is coming to you through the air, because I have this little wireless mic set here, and that's how I'm recording this audio. So it's amazing, right? Something that is just, it would be beyond the understanding of people at that time. But there's no reason to think that that doesn't exist today. That, you know, again, I'm well read in cognitive biases and in the psychology. I know a lot about probability. Believe me, I played poker semi-professionally as well as traded stocks. I do real estate investment. You can check out my financial and investment stuff there if you're a little bit skeptical. So, and I obviously have been a software developer, so I understand logic, probability, all of those things, but I still do not believe in coincidences. And this is one of those things where, again, you don't have to agree with me on this. This is totally fine. But I have found from personal experience that the quality of my life greatly improved when I stopped rejecting shit that I didn't understand just on the basis of that it's weird or strange, or I can't logically or analytically explain it. You know, not everything is up here. Some stuff has to be here, right? I wouldn't be doing this channel. I wouldn't be trying to help the people that I do if it was all about this. This is not the best way to make money in the world, pissing people off and saying the stuff that you think that that you need to say to actually help people, it's actually not that popular in the short term. I think in the long term, it's a winner. I do think that in the long term, people want to hear it's a breath of fresh air when they hear the truth and they hear someone being genuine. So I am making that long term bet, but it's coming from here. It's because I love you guys. Honestly, I know, such a softie, but it's true. I do, honestly. I honestly do. That's why I do this. I mean, I don't have to work. I don't have to, really. I can live pretty nicely without having to work, without having to make YouTube videos. There's a vanity piece of watching myself on video. I'll admit that. I do watch my own videos sometimes, and I get a kick out of that. Especially that trailer. You know what? I got to give it. Let's point to that trailer. Rodrigo did such a damn good job on this. He's my editor, and I was like, make an inspirational trailer of all the shit that I've said, and he did it. And I watch it sometimes because it psychs me up. Really, it does. Not just because of the content, but because I recognize in my own mind the path that I've taken and the progress I've made. And I'm happy about that. It makes me feel like I need to go forward and keep on doing what I'm doing. Even with that, even knowing that stuff, I'm still, like I said, I'm doubling down on this shit. I know. Some of you are like, man, that's it. You're doubling down. I'm unsubscribing. All right, go for it. Click it. It's cool. I'll wait for you. But I'm not changing. And again, I'm not going to convince you just from words, and I'm not going to convince you in a logical, analytical way. All I can say is that you know where I came from. You know my background. You know how much I read and how much I study and how much I do study psychology. And even with all that, I'm telling you that my experience is showing me that this is true. And so, again, do not understand it. Can I give you an explanation for it? A lot of things like affirmations don't make a whole shitload of sense, but so many people have said that they worked, and they have worked. And the way that I got on this path, by the way, I think I've talked about this before. I think I did some video on like, are you a new age bullshit person or whatever? You can check that out. But essentially, I was talking to a lot of millionaires and decamillionaires and whatnot. I don't know if I was talking to any billionaires, but who knows? Maybe, maybe private equity, whatever. But I would always ask people, whenever I get someone of high status, power, wealth, I would ask them, what are the top books that you recommend? Or what is the one book you'd recommend that everyone should read? And so many of them kept on saying, you got it, Think and Grow Rich, right? And I'd read that book before in my analytical engineering mind, and I thought it was a bunch of bullshit. I thought this is some crazy, wacko shit. It doesn't even make sense to me, right? But so many people kept on saying that book, and there's a few other books in there, right? I'm not going to link to all the books here, but things like, what is it? The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. That's a weird one. The Presence Process. There's just like a bunch of stuff that was just really weird stuff, okay? But I read, I said, you know what? I said, look, the only way to know that you can't know when you're ignorant, right? If someone's wiser than you can't know it. You literally cannot know it. Ignorance cannot detect its own ignorance, right? It's just impossible. If you are ignorant, if you do not have the wisdom that someone else does, you cannot know it. There's no way to perceive that, okay? Because by definition, you are ignorant. So we can't know it. We can't make judgments about people. We can only make judgments about people that know less than us, that are less wise than us. Hopefully we're right, but sometimes we're wrong about that. But there's really no way for you to detect that, to see that. So what I do, my heuristic for this, is that I basically say, look, if people are more successful than me in some attribute of life, I'm going to take what they say with an open mind, even if every urge of my body is saying, no, this is bullshit, you're crazy, okay? Because when I do this, I'm giving myself the opportunity to become wiser, okay? Even though every bone in my body is saying this is bullshit, okay? But I'm giving it a chance. It doesn't mean that I just blindly follow anything that a quote wise person says or a successful person says, but it means that I give it a chance. That's how I got to a Tony Robbins, to Tony Robbins seminar. You can check out my reviews on those. I'm going to be doing a little bit of linking here, but that's how I got to that, okay? And that's how I got to those books. And so I did read Think and Grow Rich, and I read it with an open mind. And you know what? When I started going down that path, honestly, this is why you're watching these videos. This is why I'm here today. This is why a lot of the success that I have today exists, because I went down that path, because I am now that woo-woo guy to some degree. I'm still analytical, I still have that logical mind, but I'm open. Instead of everything being here, a lot of it is moved down here, right? This is my driver now, is that I don't have to understand everything. I go a lot with gut, I go a lot with intuition, I go a lot with feel, and that's where I'm coming from with this coincidence thing. Is I'm telling you, like, I believe that the world is connected, and so the universe is connected in some weird way, because there's too many weird, unexplainable things that have happened in my life. Like I said, I think I've said it before, but I felt like at one point the universe basically tapped me on the shoulder and said, "It's time to wake up, John." And I don't know when that process, like, I don't know how that process initiates. I didn't ask for it, right? It wasn't something I expected, but I've seen it in other people too. And I have noticed that these things are connected, and that it is so strange. I will meet people. I mean, every time I'm always telling a story when I'm traveling, when I come back, I always meet I make some connection with some person that it's just so bizarre of a story. I mean, it's unbelievable that it cannot be a coincidence, right? At least in my mind. I mean, you can call it a coincidence and say, well, it's the law of large numbers and all of this stuff if you want to. But I know that it's more than just the chance of meeting someone or these weird events happening. It's the trajectory that they take me. It's the guidepost. It's the guide along the way in my path. And the more that I'm on that path, the more that I'm not here in my head and I'm down here in my intuition and in my heart, in letting that lead me and guide me on the path that I'm going, the more that these weird, quote, coincidences happen to me at a more accelerated pace, and the more that they take me further down that path in that direction. So these are guideposts along the way. These are guides that on my journey. And I believe that we're all connected, that we all have this. I can't explain it. I don't know why it happens or what's going on, but I do believe that there is a larger purpose to all this. Again, some of you are very anti-religious, anti-God, whatever. I am a religious person, but my religious views have expanded beyond what they were. I'm not going to get into the details now, but what I'm saying is that I believe that we're here on this earth, that everything is happening for a purpose, that there is some kind of purpose, that it's some way connected, that there's some consciousness or some kind of sentience that is directing or influencing or orchestrating or whatever it is, or that we're all part of one large thing that is causing us to go in a specific direction for a specific purpose. It's not all just random chance. It's not all just whatever, right? I mean, this is not such a bizarre concept to think. I mean, either everything is totally random and somehow everything came from nothing for no reason at all, which is it's a bizarre premise to hold that premise. Or you could still have like weird events that happen. You could still even believe in Big Bang and evolution and all that. That's totally fine. But is there some connected purpose? Is there some reason for all of that, right? Either there's a reason, or there's a reason, or there's not a reason. I'm going to choose to say that there's a reason, and I have a lot of, again, it's self-biased evidence, but I have a lot of evidence in my own life that there does exist that reason. I can't tell you the fundamental underlying truth behind all of that, and I think a lot of people will claim that they can. So, but I'm not going to pretend that. But I am gonna say, and I am gonna double down, like I said, that this shit isn't just a coincidence. That where you're at right now, that you're watching this video right now, that I'm making this video right now, the events that have happened in your life that have led you to this moment, that's not a coincidence. There's something there. There's a reason why you haven't shut this shit off after 14 minutes of me blabbing, right? There's a reason. And, I don't know what the reason is. Maybe you'll never figure it out. Maybe it's, there's a lot of weird stuff that happens, but it does. So that's all I got to say about that. I'm probably not going to revisit this for a while, but like I said, pushing it all in, I'm doubling down. Give me a face card, because you know what? If you want a thumbs down, you want to unsubscribe, that's cool. But I'm not changing, I'm sure. All right, I'll talk to you next time. And if you haven't subscribed already, and if I haven't scared you off or you just want to see how weird this shit is going to get on this channel, you're like, I thought that I was here for a programming guy, and he like did some video on C++. He doesn't even know C++. But now he's talking about this weird shit. I just want to see what's going to happen. Well, click the subscribe button. If you really want to be spooked out, click the bell, and then like every time a video comes up, you'll watch it and you'll be like, man, this guy is so fucking crazy. I can't believe this shit. And then you'll share it with your friends, and we'll get to like 100,000 subscribers, and that'll be cool. All right, talk to you later.